As manager said, I'm here tonight to kind of give a year-end review of what the police department has done in 2015 and to talk a little bit about crime stats so everybody can see what's going on. To start with crime statistics, as you can see by this pie chart, the majority of our crime is property crime, in particular larceny. 71% of our crime falls into that category, and then the rest are broken down. You can see the slivers in your presentation. Violent crime, when we took it apart, we looked at homicides. You can see our 5-year murder trend there. We were up 5 reports this year. One is too many, and right now we have 15 open cases. 4 of those occurred in December. The cases are still being worked, and we are going to do our best to bring those to a successful conclusion. If we look 10-year, we still see that we're on a downward trend as opposed to other years. If we take the long view of these, even though we had the spike this last year. Talk about rapes. We are up 8 reports from last year, from 120 to 128. 74% of these, the victim and the suspect are somehow or another related to one another. Either they're a family member, they're an acquaintance, they're a boyfriend, girlfriend. There is a connection between the two. That number I do not have, but I can get that for you.
Okay. And also, like, what is your general percentage of solved rapes where you are able to catch the suspect and prosecute as well?
I can get that for you as well.
Chief, how many murders occurred? Because we were doing pretty good, and then right there at the end. So how many occurred within like December at the end of the year?
We had 7 in December.
We had 7 in December.
Yeah, so we would have been below.
Yeah, the December was a problem for us. So one of the issues we have with tracking clearance rates, Vice Mayor, is the National Incident-Based Reporting System, which is what we've gone to based on the FBI. For some reason, does not track clearance rates. So when we pull that data, we have to pull that on our own and hand collate that, and we will do that for the question you have. How many cases we've closed? Just me.
Okay.
10-year, you can see we're just about even with rapes, sexual assaults. As you can see by our 5-year robbery trend, we are still trending downwards, but we did have an issue this year, and that was primarily what drove our violent crime rate. We went from 412 reports to 494. Now, we've taken some specific actions in reference to deal with that. We've done some enforcement type things that I'm not going to talk about in an open council meeting as far as tactics go. But the other thing that we've done is we've met with the store owners and tried to talk to them about target hardening and talk about some of the methodologies they can use to make them less attractive to these types of crimes. As a matter of fact, our Field Operations Bureau Chief today met with a group of 7-Eleven owners to have that very conversation, and then we are going to go out to their main business group to talk more about what they need to do to be able to protect themselves from this. So we're attacking it not just from an enforcement and police methodology way to do it, but we're also taking a look at prevention and trying to build that into what we're doing.
Chief, you mentioned specifically the 7-Eleven business owners, but is that something that we can include other convenience store people as well? Is it something collectively we can do?
Oh, absolutely, and that's exactly what we're doing. Today was with the 7-Eleven owners, but we do go out to other businesses as well and make that contact so we can make sure that we're addressing all of those. One of the issues we have with robberies this year is there's no real pattern for us to be able to develop. They were all over the place, and not only did it affect us, it affected all of the areas. It affected the entire region. And that's, when you have something like that, you have to pull out all the stops to try to figure out what's going on. So it's a little bit difficult for us to get a handle of, but we are taking steps to address it.
I had, I guess towards the middle to the end of December, when we were having such a rash of robberies at these convenience stores, I mentioned to the chief that we might have to do some overtime, pay the officers. I texted the manager about that, and he never responded, so I don't guess he thought that was a good idea. But a lot of times when people are working at these convenience stores, that's their second job, maybe their third job. And it's just unfortunate that their lives are put in jeopardy for somebody who's going to come in there, maybe get $40 or $50, especially at these 7-Elevens and places like that. I also mentioned to the chief years ago, we had a police chief here named Brown, and they would put, he was from Dallas, Texas, and they put these big yellow signs on these convenience stores and other businesses and said that this business could be staked out with a police officer with a shotgun. I'm telling you. And it was a successful effort. In a lot of instances, that I know they might have shot, 2 or 3 robbers, but I think somehow you got to let these robbers that go in realize that it's not going to be a walk in the park, and that if you got somebody that's working a second or third job, trying to take care of their families, and you're going to come in and take some money and possibly take their lives, then we can't take it, lightly. I mean, we got to fight fire with fire when it comes to that.
Mr. Reddick, I'm sorry.
And I was going to say too, is it also possible, Marcus, maybe we can help the small business owners, because I like to watch a lot of like the CSIs and stuff, and but one of the things that I consistently hear is that when store owners have security cameras, either one, they don't work, or 2, the quality is not great. So even if they get the act caught on camera, all you have is a blurb of someone. There's not a really good picture. So it might be possible, if I know our grants people work a lot to find grants for the city and things of that nature, but maybe we could look at finding grants for the business owners that might be like a 50-50 match on an upgrade. So if we found the money and they could come up with the 50%, the grant would pay the 50%, or maybe we could even split the 50% that they have to come up with, or something like that, to help them upgrade their security equipment so that 1, it works, and 2, the image that you get is of such a quality that you can actually see the person and get a good description of them and be able to possibly apprehend them. Just a thought from CSI.
Yes, ma'am.
And also, Chief, with a lot of the businesses, especially the 7-Eleven at Valentine and Virginia Beach Boulevard, the philosophy is that you should be able to see straight through the business. And that is a huge deterrent.
They've done that on Raby Road and it's worked.
It has worked that, with small businesses, instead of putting up all of the sales that are going on with inside the business, that they take some of it down and maybe 2 displays up, and you can actually see directly inside of the business, and that deters
Yes,
a lot of crime.
It does. And that's exactly what we talk to the business owners about, making the stores more visible, making sure that we can see into them from the street. We've also talked to them about processes such as their cash handling, making sure that there's not a lot of cash in the till so that they're less attractive to robbers, and also talked about some things they can do doorway-wise as far as buzzing people in and out after certain hours in order to further protect them. And Mr. Reddick, we are spending a lot of overtime. We have a lot of our department on robbery details right now out looking, trying to make an arrest on these, and we are spending significant amounts of overtime to try to take care of that. You can see our 10-year robbery trend is still down, even though we have the spike that we had in this year. Aggravated assaults are up as well. This is due primarily to domestic aggravated assaults. This is, 41 reports are domestics. Now, I will tell you, this is a tough crime for us to get a handle on because almost all of them occur behind closed doors. They occur in places where there's no real pattern to them. They're not visible to us as a police agency, so they're tough to get at. What we do try to do is when we come across a domestic assault, we engage with the Commonwealth Attorney's Office in the lethality assessment protocol, where we talk to the victims of these crimes and we go through a question. We ask them a series of questions to try to get at how much danger they might be in. And then we offer services to them in order to get them out of the situation, in order to prevent something serious from happening. And that's, some take advantage of that. Unfortunately, some do not and end up staying in that situation.
Was there something that we did right in 2011, 12, and 14 that was so significantly different?
I wish I had an answer for that, Vice Mayor. It is basically, like I said, these things are taking place behind closed doors. It's any number of things. It goes from the domestic assaults to people shooting into occupied dwellings. There's any number, throwing rocks at a car. It can be an aggravated assault. So these are the type of things that get classified under this crime, and it makes it tough for us to come up with good interdiction strategies on this. So that's why we try to focus on the domestic assaults, because that is something that we might be able to have an effect on if we can get some of the victims to take advantage of the services we have.
So when you're talking about these, you're talking about some of these are domestic assaults, correct?
So, I'm sorry, sir?
On this chart, we're talking these are domestic assaults, correct?
Yes, sir.
Right, have we, and Chief, you may not know this, but what is part of that trend appears to me to be a return of the fleet back from war. And I'm curious if you can talk to the Navy about what plan they have with regard to their personnel coming back from Iraq, Afghanistan deployments, those consecutive deployments that kept sailors and officers away for a very long time. And what are they seeing, as I'm curious, what are they seeing in their own ranks with the increases in any assaults since their personnel have returned? I'm not indicting them on that. I'm curious if, as I look at that trend, we're talking about the influx back of the fleet from war. And if you could find out for us, I'd appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
If that's a point. I'm not saying it is. And then if it is there a solution on the Navy side for taking care of this?
We'll certainly ask that question.
And that brings up a good point. The data that you're showing us are raw number, they're actual numbers. But our population as a city has increased, am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
And that, so when you're doing these metrics, crime is crime, and it looks bad up here, but I'm just curious to see the actual percentage on our population as opposed to actual numbers, because even though there was an increase in murders from last year, I know most crime is done by per population, I guess, per person. So could we, I don't want to make anybody on that side run more data, but I'd be curious to see this compared to a population increase as opposed to just actual numbers. Because we have added people. I mean, we're adding people.
Some people, but I mean, over
1,000 a year.
Yeah. And if that has anything, or like you said, if a ship goes in and you have, some sailors that are hanging out in a bar and, something, does that increase your?
There's stories behind this,
Yeah.
and especially the domestic piece.
The domestic
Chief-
piece bothers.
Yeah, Chief, I mean, don't you think maybe more of them are now getting reported than they used to years ago?
Yes, absolutely. With the things that we put in place, particularly with domestic assaults and with sexual assault, we've put some methodologies in place that we think are encouraging more reporting. You can see we're just about flat for our 10-year aggravated assault trend. This chart shows 5-year total violent crime trend. We went from 1,249 incidents last year to 1,388. You can see by the chart, though, that the 2014 number is low compared to what we've had in years past. This uptick is due to our robbery numbers. That's what's driven this number for this last year. And it also matches the national trend that we've seen. If we look across the country, when we look at crime stats, we can see that across the country we have seen an uptick in violent crime in some of our urban areas. There's no real good reason for that, but it's something that we're looking at, and we're talking to other departments about some of the things that they've done.
But haven't there been some claim of the Ferguson effect that comes out of that?
We have taken a look at that. We are in the middle of
Why don't you
researching.
explain it first, since
Okay.
people are watching? Explain what the Ferguson effect is, and then tell me if you see that effect in our city.
The Ferguson effect refers to what they call this chilling wind that is blown through law enforcement as a result of the increased scrutiny as a result of what's happened in Ferguson and Baltimore and New York. And the idea is that maybe police departments are pulling back and not doing as much enforcement as they had done in years past. I can tell you one of the things that we have recently done is we took a look at what we call our Terry stops, which is basically our stops based on reasonable suspicion. That is an indicator of whether your police officers are working or not. I can tell you that on the Norfolk Police Department, our data so far shows that we actually increased the number of Terry stops that we made over the last year. So at this point, I'm not willing to say that the Ferguson effect is part of this department. Our officers are still going to work every day. Certainly, that I would have expected if the officers were afraid to engage or were concerned about engaging, that they would have pulled back and we would not be making those stops based on what we think to be suspicious behavior.
I'm glad that that you knew about it, of course, in your profession, but that you actually took it upon yourself to investigate that. Because it's easy to stick your head in the sand and say it's not a problem, but I appreciate that you've done that.
Yes, sir. So even with the uptick, you can see that our 10-year violent crime trend is still down. Moving on to property crime, we had some good successes with property crime this year. You can see we had a significant drop between 2014 and 2015, and when we look at the 5-year trend, we are still trending downwards with that. When we take a look at the 10-year look, we're about flat. The hope is that if we continue with the downward trend, that eventually we'll change that figure as well when we take the long view. The 5-year larceny trend, as we break it down by individual crimes, you can see that we're down as well. 10-year larceny trend is still flat. Stolen vehicle trend, we had a spike last year in 2014. This year, we were able to reduce it to 751, so we had some success there. A lot of that was done through public education. A significant number of our stolen cars involve people leaving keys in it. They are warming them up, they leave keys in it, they leave valet keys in it. We did a fairly extensive blitz trying to get people to stop doing that, and hopefully we had some effect on the rate. And we'll continue that in the year. You can see our 10-year stolen vehicle trend, we are still down. When we talk about total property crime, we are still on a significant downward trend for the 5-year. We're still trending down just a little bit 10-year, but it's basically flat. And in total crime, based on the strength of our property crime numbers, we still show a downward trend over the 5 years. And we actually were able to finish the year, I think, 3% under for total crime than we were last year. Okay, we're talking about some of our homicides, looking at the victims of the homicides. You can see by the slide, 25%, actually 74% of our victims are black males. The balance is made up of others, black male adults. The suspects, in our known suspects so far, 90% or 18 in number are black male adults, the balance being white male adults. When we look at relationships between suspect and victim, by far over 51% are acquainted. And somehow or another, the suspect and the victim know one another. In another 6%, it's a family member. In another 3%, it's a romantic relationship. And then in the other 3%, it is husband and wife. It's a domestic situation. The unknown or stranger one, those represent the number of cases that are still open, and we're sure that as we close those cases, we'll get more motive and be able to add more to the chart. Again, this is another one that looks at motives. The unknown represents our open cases. 34% were the result of an argument. 6% of a robbery. 9% had some drug connection. And then 14% were domestic related. Weapons, you can see almost exclusively firearms in this. Over 80% of our homicides were committed by a firearm. The balance being a sharp object or a blunt instrument. Okay, now on to some of the good things the police department is doing or did over the past year. This is just a quick on our field operations strategic plan. Everybody knows about our CompStat process that we do twice a month. That's a data-driven way for us to take a look at what's happening and how we're going to attack it. A lot of high visibility patrols. We have tried to get into the predictive policing part, where we take a look at what the trends are over time. We graph those. We take a look at where the locations are and try to predict where the crime is going to take place so we can actually deploy. We also respond based on what our citizens tell us. We are in regular attendance of neighborhood watch and civic leagues. We do collaborative problem solving and crime prevention activities, an example being what we did today with the store owners in reference to trying to deal with the robbery problem. We also focus a lot on our community partnerships. This is one of the things that we started recently that we think will pay big dividends for our department. In May of last year, we took part in a fair and impartial policing training given by Dr. Lori Friedel, who's the nationally recognized expert in this. Not only was our command staff involved with this, but we also had members of our community in. As a result of that training, we developed a work plan on things that we were going to address within the department, and then we brought that group back in a very purposeful way, and they meet twice a month. And this is our Fair and Impartial Policing Policy Group. So we now have a group of citizens sitting with police officers, and they are going through all of our policies and procedures. They started out with our recruiting effort to take a look at ways that they could help us with that. They have moved through use of force. They're now looking at other policies. And what we're doing is developing a work plan with input from the community and how we might develop policies that we think will serve the police department, but also the community as well. This has been a great group for us to work with, and it has really given the citizens a voice in how the police department works. We're very excited about this, and we're looking to continue this and find other things for them to do as we move through the year. These are some of the things that we're already involved in. The partnership with the Willis Broadcasting Group. We have 2 days a month with them. The officers are fielding live calls. If you ever get a chance to listen into the program, I would encourage you to do so. It's a great program for us to be able to reach out to a different part of the community and answer questions for them. We are still partnered with Teens with a Purpose. That is probably, without a doubt, the most talented group of young people that I've ever been involved with. They do a fantastic job with what they do. They were featured at the Martin Luther King celebration this year. They do a great work. Miss Deidre Love, who's the mentor for this group, does fantastic work. And we're very happy that they are part of our department and that we're able to partner with them so well and get them to do some of our public service announcements and work with us on other things. The PLUS program is really one of our signature mentoring programs. It's where we're tutoring in our Title I schools. We went from a little over 40 officers to 53 this year. So we've increased the number of officers that are in our schools doing this work. We, of course, still have our Cops and Kids partnership with the Boys and Girls Club. Once a month we're there. We actually had a Christmas party with them before we closed the calendar year out, and we have some more things planned for them as the year goes on. We still have our recruit class out working with our community before they graduate. The idea behind this, of course, is to build relationships before they're sworn in. I think recruit class 96, which is getting ready to graduate, or it might be 97, had a coat drive this year to help give coats to our poor. Some of the milestones we were able to accomplish, we were voted the CIT Program of the Year for the state. That was a big thing for us to be able to accomplish in a short amount of time. And Lieutenant Wayne Hanley was elected the Trainer of the Year for CIT. We have sought accreditation through CALEA, the Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies. We got a very favorable assessment report. The only one that can mess this up now is me when I go to St. Louis and have to testify before the board. So I'll be prepping for that until it's time for me to go. Any questions, folks? Sorry, I went through it pretty quick.
We are out of time.
Okay.
So, Chief, are we going to get a copy of the slides?
Yes, absolutely.
Can we have him back?
Okay.
I'd like to have him rescheduled for the next meeting.
Sure, to ask him some
Yeah,
questions.
I've got a list of things that.
All right, Chief, thank you.
Yeah, I'll put him back.